For this project, you are going to need some yarn. I'm using the Yeye yarn, which is 100% acrylic. You are also going to need a 3.0mm hook, a pair of scissors to cut off the excess yarn, and some measuring tape to measure the vital areas. So first of all, you are going to make the bra cups. I have a specialized tutorial which will be linked in the description if you want to check it out on how to make bra cups, but I'm going to refresh you on how to make it. So first of all, you are going to make a slip knot. Insert your hook into the slip knot, and then you are going to chain a total of 12, which includes the nipple to under bust measurement. My size is small. This is for a size small, and I'm using 2 strands at the same time, using my Yeye yarn because I want to achieve the medium weight. Okay, so after chaining a total of 4, I'm going to locate the third space, and I'm going to put a double crochet there. So yarn over, insert your hook into the third space, put you, when you have 3 on the hook, put you 2, put you 2. So that is how to do a double crochet, and we are going to place a double crochet in all the chain spaces till you get to the end of the row. You are supposed to have a total of 9 double crochets. Okay, 9 double crochets because 3 of the chains counts as a 10 chain. So I'm almost getting to the end of my row of double crochet, and this is how it's going to look. Okay, so after that you are going to chain a total of 2 and turn over. So you are going to make the next row, which is row 2 for the bra cups. So you are going to double crochet into the next space, and you are going to put a double crochet in all the spaces till you are getting to the end of the row. So swiftly put your double crochet in all the spaces and make sure you are accurate in your total number of 9 double crochets. Okay, so I'm almost getting to the end, and this is where we are going to make some changes. Okay, so I have a total of 9 right now, as you can see, and with the very last space, which you are supposed to put your final double crochet, we are going to make this turning detail. Okay, so we are going to put a total of 2 double crochets in that space. Okay, so yarn over, insert your hook into the last space, put a total of 2 double crochets. So this is the second double crochet, and then you chain up 1 and put a total of 2 in the same exact space. Okay, so now it allows you to turn over to work the other side. So now you are going to place a double crochet in all the spaces till you get to the end of the row. Okay, so that's how to work this bra cup. It's very easy to make, and I have a separate tutorial for it. If you are interested as well, you can go check it out. And with the yarn, I have an exclusive vlog where I show you guys, especially those in Ghana, how I get my yarns. It's up on my channel too. I would love you to check it out. Okay, so this is how I work my bra cups. It's very simple and easy, and I'm going to make several rows. Okay, I made a total of 7 rows for my size, and it depends on the coverage you want. Okay, so as usual, chain 2 and double crochet into the turn over and double crochet into the next space, and place a double crochet across till you are approaching your chain 2 you made from the previous row. The chain 1 you made or the chain 2, it doesn't really matter. So when you approach there, you are going to make another detail. So in that space where you chained 1, you are going to put a total of 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. Okay, it allows you to turn, and that is a repetition of row 2, just like I just taught you. And after that, you are going to double crochet in all the spaces till you get to the end of the row, and that is how to work it. Okay, it's very easy. You are going to do this repetition, as I said. I did a total of 7 for mine, and it depends on everyone's own. Okay, we all have different preferences, so I'll meet you at the end. this is my outcome, okay, and I'm going to repeat several rows, okay, till I'm satisfied with the coverage. As I told you, my total was 7, so I'm done with 3 rows and I'm going to add a total of 4 extra rows. So for now, I'll go behind the scenes and work the extra row, and I'll meet you when I'm done. So I'm done with my full bra caps, okay, and as usual you're supposed to make 2. I made 1 already before I started this tutorial. So now it's time for the picot edging, okay. So the picot edging is the edging you saw from the beginning of the video, okay. So to do that, slip stitch into the next space, chain a total of 3, single crochet into the very first chain you made for the chain 3 you just made. So insert your hook. When you have 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, and after doing this you are going to slip stitch into the same exact space where you made the chain. So just swiftly slip stitch, and that is how to do the picot edging. After doing this, you are going to slip stitch 4 times, and it doesn't really matter. You can decide to slip stitch 5, 7, depending on how you want the separation of your picot. So after chaining 4, you are going to chain a total of 3 again, and after that you are going to single crochet into the very first chain you made for the total of 3. And after doing that, you are going to slip stitch into the same exact space, and easy. That is how to do a picot edging, very easy. So I'm going to do this all around the bra caps, separated by 4 slip stitches, and that is how I do my picot edging, okay. So I'll meet you. So I've done 3 and I'm going to add extra 1 till I get to the midpoint of the bra. So I did my picot. I had a total of 5 picots, and I'm getting to where I'm going to create my straps, okay. So this is going to be my last picot, and then I'm going to put 4 slip stitches across till I meet the point of the bra cap, the topper part of the bra cap. So after doing this, I'm going to make a long chain which will go towards my back for my corset crisscross design. I suggest you chain more than 250, because you need very long straps, okay. So after chaining a total of 250 or more, you are going to insert your hook into the next space and place a single crochet there, okay. So this is to make the straps very thick. So insert your hook, pull through. When you have 2 on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 2 loops. So that's how to do a single crochet, and you can decide to do slip stitches, but I prefer single crochet. So I'm going to single crochet in all the spaces to the end of the row. So yes, I'm going to meet you here, okay. So single crochet along till your straps are thick. So I've placed a single crochet all along the chain I made, and after that I'm going to slip stitch to finally join, and slip stitch a total of 4 before I do my very first picot for the other side of the bra cap, okay. So after doing this, I'm going to chain a total of 3, slip stitch into the, is this slip stitch? Yes. So you can either single crochet or slip stitch. So I slip stitch into the very first chain and slip stitch into the exact same chain space, and after that I'm going to put across 4 slip stitches till I make my next picot, okay. So that's how I do my picot, and I'll just repeat till I get to the end of the row. So I'm done with my picot, and it's now time to work the picot and straps towards the next bra cap. All you have to do is to slip stitch directly by inserting your hook into that point of the bra cup and slip stitching swiftly. You can chain before slip stitching if you want a little bit separation between your bra cup, but I just slip stitched directly and I chain one to secure and slip stitched again to secure. Okay, so after that I'm going to do my very first picot for this part of the bra cup by chaining a total of 3 as usual. In that first chain you made, you are going to slip stitch, and after doing that you are going to slip stitch into the same exact space, okay, to create the picot edging. And after that you are going to do your separation by slip stitching 4 times and doing your next picot. So I'll do this repetition, create my straps and do the single crochet thing and work back again towards the side just like how we did, and I'll meet you when I'm done with this full bra cup. Isn't it looking cute already? Okay, we are now going to work after the repetition, we are going to work at the bottom part. So I'm done with my repetition and this is how cute my top is looking already. So after you are done with this, you are just going to cut off the yarn and start all over again. So you are going to make a slip knot and chain a total of 18. Okay, this total is going to include the side of the bralette, okay, the detail you saw. So it depends on how much coverage you want, but I suggest you chain 18 to 20 if you are doing a size small. Okay, so after chaining 18, I'm just going to swiftly connect this to the edge of the bra. So you just insert your hook into the space that you find, pull through. When you have 2 on the hook, pull through 2 loops. So you are going to place a single crochet in all the chain spaces you find. Okay, it doesn't matter how many single crochets you do in all the spaces. Make sure you are directly going swiftly towards to create a smooth base, okay, so that it doesn't really become bunched up, and that is the last thing we need to get for this top. So make sure you swiftly go along the edges of the bra cup towards the other side as well, and just single crochet to get the straight edge. So I'm going to single crochet all along towards the bra cup, okay, and then towards this side as well, and chain a total of 18. So I'm done. I chain my total of 18 for the other side as well. And after that I'm going to add an extra one as a turning chain, insert the hook into the second space, pull through. When I have 2 on the hook, pull through 2. So I'm going to single crochet along starting from the chain, the 18 chain we made just now, to create a good clean base for this project. Okay, so please a single crochet in all the chain spaces towards the bottom as well, and to the other side where we also made a total of 18 chains. Okay, so I'll see you when I'm done. So this is the final outcome when I went along with my single crochet border, and it's now time to work on the detail, which you really need to pay close attention. I'll try and leave some timestamps since you might need it for the detail of the down design. So after that I'm going to chain a total of 2, turn over my work, double crochet into the next, directly into the next space and in the following space. So the chain 2 counts as a stitch. So in total this will be a total of 3 double crochets, okay, for the beginning of the detail. So after having this 3 double crochet, you are going to chain a total of 2. So 1, 2, skip the next 2 chains, the spaces, and double crochet into the third. After this you are going to double crochet into the following stitch and the stitch after, making a total of 3 double clusters of double crochets, which is definitely a granny stitch, if you love to call that. Okay, so we are making granny stitches separated by chain 2s. Okay, so with the next cluster, you are going to chain a total of 5 instead. Okay, chain a total of 5, skip the next 2 spaces and double crochet into the third, and double crochet into the following and the stitch after. Okay, so this is another variation, 2 granny stitches separated by chain 5s, and that is where you need to take notice. Okay, the rest are regular ones. The ones with chain 5s in between are the details for the bra. So after that, you chain 2, skip the next 2 chain spaces and double crochet into the third, the following and the stitch after. Okay, so we are doing this repetition again. So after that, you chain 2 again, skip the next 2 spaces and double crochet into the third, the stitch after, and the following stitch. Okay, so 3 double crochets, clusters of double crochets, or the granny stitch, if you would love to call it this way. So after that, you chain up a total of 2 again, skip the next 2 stitches, double crochet into the following, the stitch after, the next. Okay, so after that, you are now going to do another detail of chain 5. Okay, separating the granny stitch. So this time you are going to chain a total of 5, and you skip the next 2 chain spaces and double crochet into the third, the stitch after, the next stitch or the following stitch and the stitch after. Okay, so 3 double crochets. Okay, separated by chain 5. So the 2 clusters are separated. So after that, you chain 2, skip the next 2 spaces, double crochet into the third, the following and the stitch after. After this, you are going to do another variation. Okay, we need this middle detail. Okay, so this is what you are going to do. You are going to chain 2, you are getting to the middle, you chain 2, you skip the next stitch, only 1 stitch, and then you double crochet into the following and the stitch after. Okay, so this time I'm just doing 2 double crochets instead of 3 because we are needing a middle detail for this. Okay, so after that, you chain a total of 5. Okay, and skip the next 2 stitches and double crochet into the following. Okay, so just swiftly double crochet into the following and the stitch after. Okay, this is the only variation for the middle detail. Okay, you understand why we did this for this first row. So after that, you are going to continue with your regular cluster by chaining 2 and skipping the next 2 stitches and putting a double crochet in the third, just like what we did. Okay, and I want you guys to mark the spaces with the chain 5, since we will be needing that for the next row. We need to make sure that that place is on point for the next row so that it won't confuse you. Okay, so after that, you chain 2, skip the next 2 spaces and double crochet into the following, which is the third, the stitch after, and the next stitch. Okay, and you chain up a total of 5 again, skip the next 2 spaces, double crochet into the third, the stitch after, and the following. Okay, so that is how to, as I told you, make sure you mark the chain 5 spaces. So after that, you chain 2 and double crochet into the third, the stitch after, or the following stitch, and the next stitch. Okay, so this is how the repetition is going to be. You should be familiar with this repetition. You realize that some have chain 5. You have specific places where we have chain 5s, and that is what we need for this project. Okay, so I'm going to continue with my repetition. Okay, and you just have to take note of where the chain 5 spaces is, or better still, you can stitch mark. So after that, I'm going to chain 2, skip the next 2 chains, the next 2 spaces, double crochet into the third, the following, and the next stitch. Okay, and yes, we are supposed to have a total of chain 5. When you take notice of the chain 5s, it must be 5. Okay, a total of 5 for the detail. You understand why we did this in the next row. So after that, you chain a total of 5. Okay, this is going to be the last chain 5 separating the 2 clusters. Okay, So after that, you skip the next 2, double crochet into the following, the stitch after and the next, okay, and you chain 2 and you do your final cluster. Skip the next 2 chains, double crochet into the third, the stitch after and the final stitch. So it is going to be the very last double crochet for this bra top, okay. So yes, this is how row 1 is going to look, okay. Everyone's ending might vary, but if you had something similar to mine or you have any issues, I can always help, okay. So you just have to comment below and I'll get the help, okay. So chain up a total of 4 for the next row. Move to directly into the next space, which is a chain 2 space from the previous row, and put a total of 3 double crochets. You now understand why I call this a granny stitch, okay. So now we are going in the chain spaces, okay. So we are meeting the very first chain 5. As I told you, you always have to take notice of this. So you are going to chain a total of 3. Inside that chain 5 space, you are going to place a single crochet there, okay. So you understand why as well. Chain up a total of 3 again, move directly into the next space and put a total of 3 clusters of double crochets, and it's almost the same, or it's the same as the granny stitch, okay. So we are now working in the spaces, not on top or anything, and that makes it easy for the rest of the rows, okay. So we are doing this detail which you saw from the thumbnail, and it's a really cool detail. We are doing this on the chain 5s, okay. So after that, you chain a total of 2, go into the next space, put a total of 3 double crochets, okay. So 3 consecutive double crochets, or we can just call it a granny if you are cool with it, okay. So we are doing this granny detail, and the chain 5, the places where we chain 5, we are doing another detail. So after that, you are going to chain up a total of 3 for the next detail, okay. This time we are meeting our next chain 5. We are just going to single crochet on top of that chain 5, chain up a total of 3, move directly in the next and put a total of 3 double crochets in the next space, okay, for the granny detail, okay. So yes, we are gradually approaching the middle detail, okay. So you are just going to continue with your repetition. For the next row, you are going to chain up a total of 2. Sorry for the bright light here. And you are going to put a total of 3 double crochets in the next space. So you are gradually meeting your middle detail, and you are going to chain a total of 3 single crochet in the middle, chain up a total of 3 again, and put a total of 3 double crochet in the next space, okay. So that is the middle detail we just did, okay. We had chain 5 from the previous row in the exact middle, okay. So after that, you chain up a total of 2 in the next space, you put a total of 3 consecutive double crochets, okay. So that's how the repetition is going to be, okay. So we are going to chain up a total of 3 single crochet on top of the next which is the chain 5, chain up 3 again, and repeat with your 3 consecutive double crochet, okay, just like how you did. So basically, when you approach the chain 5, you just do your chain 3, single crochet in the middle, chain 3, and when you approach the next regular spaces, you chain 2 and do your 3 consecutive double crochet. I hope you are getting this, okay. So that's how the repetition is. So chain 2, 3 double crochets, we are meeting the next chain 5, you chain 3 single crochet in the middle, you chain 3 again, and put your next 3 consecutive double crochet in that final space, okay. So that is how the repetition is going to be. And after that, to keep the straight edge, we are going to just chain 1 and put a final double crochet on the very last double crochet for the 3 clusters, okay. So that's how row 2 is going to be. I hope you are not confused. This is pretty easy. You just need a detail for the middle and underneath the bra cap. So you have one at the left, one at the side, and then one for the detail, for each detail, the chain 18 we made from the previous row. So you are supposed to have a total of 5 for the detail, okay. So after that, you chain a total of 3 to begin the next row, which is row 3 for the bra caps detail. So after that, you put a total of 2 double crochets in that very first space. The chain 3 counts as a stitch. Okay, so you have a total of 3 double crochets. After doing this, you are going to chain a total of 3 single crochet into this space. Okay, so 1 single crochet into that space, into the very middle space where you single crocheted. You are going to place a single crochet on top, and then in the following space, so 3 double crochets, single crochets. Okay, so that is the next detail for this design. Okay, after that, you chain a total of 3, go directly into the next space and put your 3 consecutive double crochets there. Okay, so this is how the detail is going to look. If you take a close look at it and you are crocheting along, you should figure this out. Okay, this is how the detail is going to look. So after you do your total of 3, you chain up to go into the next space and put a total of 3 double crochets, or 3 consecutive double crochets. Okay, so we are meeting the next detail here. Okay, so with the next detail, we are going to do the same repetition. You chain up a total of 3 single crochet in that exact space, single crochet in the middle where you single crocheted from the previous row, and then place another single crochet in the next. Okay, chain up a total of 3 and continue with your granny design. So that's how the repetition is going to be. Okay, so you can see that the details are totally showing, as you can see, and you are just going to continue. So this is the next detail. You are just going to chain up a total of 3 single crochet in that space, in the middle single crochet, and in the space after, chain up a total of 3, and in the next space you put a total of 3 consecutive double crochet or granny stitch. So after doing this, you chain up a total of 3, and single crochet in the space in the middle, and then in the space after, you chain up a total of 3, and in the following space you put your regular 3 consecutive double crochets or granny stitch. So this is going to be the final detail. You are going to chain up 3 single crochet in the space in the middle and in the space after, as usual, as I just taught you. And after doing this, you chain up a total of 3 again and put your 3 consecutive double crochet in that final space. So just swiftly put your 3 consecutive double crochet in the final space, and you are done with this row. Isn't it looking cute already? If you are crocheting along, you should be seeing the detail right now and admiring your work. Okay, this is so cute. So yes, for the next row, you are just going to turn over your work and chain up a total of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and this time you are going to move to that exact space and put a total of 3 double crochets. Okay, so 3 double crochets in the following space, the one I'm just doing, if you observe clearly. Okay, so after that, you chain up a total of 3. Okay, move directly in the middle single crochet, so the one in the exact middle, you place a single crochet there, chain up 3 again, move directly into the next space. Okay, so this exact space, you are going to put a total of 3 double crochets. Okay, so that's the next detail for this design. Isn't it looking cute already? After this, you chain up a total of 2, move directly into the next space where you are going to put your 3 consecutive double crochet. After doing this, you are going to chain up a total of 3 single crochet in the middle of the 3 consecutive single crochets you made from the previous row, and after that you chain up a total of 3. In the next space directly you are going to put a total of 3 consecutive double crochets. After that, this is how the detail is going to look. Okay, so that's how the repetition is going to be. Whenever you're approaching the detail, you just swiftly go into the space with 3 double crochets, chain 3. So make sure you chain 2, separating it, and you put your 3 consecutive double crochets into the space. And after doing this, you are going to chain up a total of 3. Okay, so chain up a total of 3 single crochet in the middle of the 3 single crochets you made from the previous row. So look for the middle, just place your single crochet there, chain up 3 again, and in the next, which is this exact same space, I'm going to put a total of 3 double crochets. Okay, so that's how the repetition is going to be, and you can just replay if you want to continue. Okay, so I'm going to do this repetition till I get to the end of the row. Whenever you're approaching the design, go into the space with your 3 consecutive, you chain up your 3 single crochet, chain 3 single crochet, and continue with your design. So I'm gradually getting to the end of the row. Okay, and this is going to be my last design. So I chained up 2, and in that exact space I'm going to put a total of 3 double crochets, the 3 consecutive double crochets in that space, just like how I taught to you. And you are going to chain up your 3 and single crochet into the middle of the 3 consecutive single crochet from the previous row that you made for the middle. You chain up 3, and in that exact space you are going to put your 3 consecutive double crochets, which is the final one before you chain up 1 and put your last double crochet on the very last stitch for the previous 3 consecutive double crochet. So this is how your project is going to look. Okay, isn't it cute? It's very easy. Okay, so this row we are about to do, which is the next row, is going to be the final row for the detail, but this is not going to be the very last row, just the final row for the detail. So you just chain a total of 3. Okay, go into the same exact space and add extra 2 because the chain 3 counts as a stitch. After doing this, you chain up 2 and you put a double crochet into the next space. I mean 3 consecutive double crochet as usual. So just place 3 consecutive double crochet there, and after that you chain up a total of 3 and go into the next space. Okay, this exact space, and place another 3 consecutive double crochets in that space. Okay, so that is the detail with the full thing. It gives you this spider look. Okay, if you are already taking notice of, this is how the look is, this flower spider look. Okay, so after that you chain up 2 and go into the next space where you are going to put your 3 consecutive double crochets. After doing this, you chain up 2 again, and in the next space you are going to put another 3 consecutive double crochets. So this is how the detail is going to look. Okay, and after that you chain up 2 into this exact same next space, which is the next space. You are going to put a total of 3 double crochets, and you chain up 3. So after your 3 double crochets, you just chain up 3 and move directly on the inside the next and put a total of 3 again. Okay, for the detail, if you are already taking notice of how the detail is forming. Okay, this is how it's looking. So this is how it's going, the repetition is going to be. Okay, and so after chaining 2, move directly into the next space and put your total of 3 double crochets as usual. Okay, so you are doing this till you meet your design where you are just going to chain up 2 and go into that space and put a total of 3 double crochets. Okay, and after that you chain up 2, and in the following space, 3, in the following space you put a total of 3 double crochets, okay, to close up the detail. After that you chain up 2, go into the next space, do your regular 3 cluster of double crochets and move directly. After that you move directly and do your repetition. I think this is going to be the last flower detail, or yes, this is going to be the last but one. You chain up 2, put a total of 3, you chain up 3 again. In the next space you put a total of 3 double crochets and you chain up 2, repeat your 3 clusters, and after that you chain up 2 and move directly into the next space and do your total of 3 double crochets, okay, and after that you chain up a total of 3, and in the next space you do your total of 3 double crochets, okay, and after that you chain up 2 and do your final 3 clusters in that same space, okay. So that's how the repetition is going to be, okay, and I hope you are fine with this and it's helpful enough for you to figure out how to go about yours, especially for the other sizes, okay. This can be adjusted in so many different sizes, okay. So this is how the details are looking if you have not taken notice, but I'm going to do an extra repetition of this same exact thing again, okay, but I'm going to run you through it, or you can just start from row 1 for the detail, okay, and I might leave, okay, I'll be leaving timestamps, okay, to help you, but I'll just run you through on what I'm doing, okay. So I'm going to do the very first detail again. So you have already made the very first detail, so this row is going to be repetition of row 2 for the detail. So first of all, chain up 4 and move 10 over, move directly into the next space, okay, put your total of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3, single crochet into the next, chain 3, okay, and put your 3 consecutive double crochet into the following space, okay. So that is how the repetition is, okay. So it's the same repetition as the second part, okay, for the detail. After that you chain 2, you put a total of 3 consecutive double crochet into the next space and you chain up a total of 3, so 1, 2, and so, okay, you chain up a total of 3, you single crochet in the next space and you chain up a total of 3 again and do your total of 3 consecutive double crochet into the following space. So this is how it's going to look, okay. It's just the same repetition, okay. Whenever I'm meeting the top detail, you are going to do your 3 single 3 chains, single crochet 3, and that's going to be the same repetition on top of each design. So you are going to do the same thing at this place and the following ones, okay. So that's how the detail is going to be. I'll meet you at the end. So yes, I've done my repetition, okay. Whenever I meet the detail, I do the repetition, okay. So this is going to be my last 3 consecutive double crochet. So just please, after making your chain of 3, you just directly go with your 3 consecutive double crochet. If you take a look at this, it's the same repetition as the second part, so you can just go and replay to watch, okay. I'm just refreshing you through. So make sure you end with your double crochet, and this is how to end for this row for the repetition, okay. So for the next row, we are going to chain up a total of 3 to begin and turn over your work. So chain 3, turn over your work, and in the next space, which is the one close to it, I'm going to add an extra 2 double crochets. So the chain 3 counts as a stitch. In total you have 3 double crochets, okay. So I'm meeting the detail now, and all you have to do is to chain up a total of 3 single crochet in this same space where I'm just demonstrating to you. Place your single crochet just there in the middle and in the space after, just like the third section of the detail. Okay, so I'm just refreshing you through, and you can just go back and replay, okay, to help you figure out with a more detailed pattern. So you chain up 3 again, and in the next space you are going to do a total of 3 double crochets. Okay, and yeah, this is how the detail is looking. Okay, I just don't want you guys to get confused, so I'm just making sure that I refresh you on how the row is, how it looks like. But you can just go back and replay from the text section with the help of the timestamp, and you can just crochet along. Okay, so when you are getting to the middle detail, make sure you chain up a total of 3 single crochet in the space in the middle, and in the space after you chain up your 3 and continue with your regular 3 consecutive double crochet into the next space. Okay, so yes, just make sure you are doing your repetition right. Okay, you should figure out this. Okay, when you are getting to the middle, when you get to the detail side, you know what to do. You chain your 3 single crochet in the space in the middle and in the space after. Continue with your granny stitch to meet your next detail. So I'm going to do this repetition till I get to the end. So I'm done with my repetition, and this is how I ended. I ended with 3 clusters of double crochet, and let's work the next detail. Okay, so for the next detail you are going to chain up a total of 4. Okay, turn over your work, and in the next space, okay, which is this next space that you see, you are going to put a total of 3 double crochets. Okay, so just put your total of 3 consecutive double crochets and chain up a total of 3. So chain up a total of 3 and single crochet in the middle of the 3 single crochets you made from the previous row. Okay, and after that you are going to chain up a total of 3 again in that same exact space. You are going to put a cluster of 3 consecutive double crochets. Okay, which is very constant. Okay, so this is the detail for the 4th aspect. You can just go and replay and watch to finish this row, but I'm just refreshing through. After that, you chain up your total of 3. Do your 3 consecutive double crochet, chain 3, single crochet in the middle, chain 3, and do your 3 consecutive double crochets. Okay, and I hope this is not confusing. Okay, I don't know how to explain better, but you should figure it out. Okay, when you are crocheting along. So I'm going to continue with my detail. As I told you, is the 4th section of the design, so you can just go and replay to complete the rest, or you should figure it out by then and complete this row. So I'll meet you. So I'm done with the repetition. This is how it's looking so far to the end, and we are finally going to do the final row. Okay, for the detail, not really the exact final, but just for the detail. So for the next row, you chain up a total of 3. Okay, and put an extra 2 double crochets in that same tiny space you find over there. So in total you have 3 clusters. After that, you chain up 2, move directly into the next space and put a total of 3 clusters of a double crochets. Okay, so gradually put your total of 3, chain up 3, and put your total of 3 in the following. Okay, so this is the 5th detail, and you can, as I said, you can use the timestamp to replay and complete this row. Okay, so this row is just to refresh you. Okay, so after that, you chain up 2 into the next space, you put a total of 3 double crochets. and this is how it's looking so far. You can see that we have two details on top, okay, this flowery detail, and I missed the granny stitches, okay. So you chain up a total of 2 again, and in the next space you put a total of 3 double crochets, the same regular 3 consecutive double crochets you have been doing for this design. And after that, you chain up 2, move directly into the next space and put a total of 3 consecutive double crochets, okay. Chain up 2 again, and in the next space you put, chain up 3 instead, and in the following space you put a total of 3 consecutive double crochets, okay. So that's how the detail is going to be, and you should figure out your way for this final row. So I'm going to do my basic repetition of what you are supposed to do, and just the granny and the detail, and I'll meet you at the end of the row and show you how to add some borders to this work. So I finally completed my row, okay. This is a final detail. So I'm going to add a half double crochet border and a picot edging. To do that, you are going to chain 1, half double crochet in that same exact stitch, and put a half double crochet across the stitches to get this straight edge, okay, to enable you to do this cute picot edging, okay. So I'm going to half double crochet 2 times in the chain spaces, go directly into each space I find and put a single half double crochet in all the spaces, okay. Make sure that you are right on point and you are moving swiftly straight, okay. So we are just creating this cute border for the picot edging, and you don't need it to be bulky, okay. So I'll meet you when I'm done with the repetition and we start with the picot edging, okay. So I'm done with my half double crochet row. For the next row, you chain up 3, slip stitch into the very first chain and then into the same chain, okay, to create the picot edging. And after that, you are going to separate it by 4 slip stitches, just like how we did around the bra cups, and you chain a total of 3, slip stitch into the chain 1 and into the same space, okay. So that's how the repetition of the picot edging is going to be separated by chain 4s and just the regular one, just like how we did. So this is the final look, okay. If you love my content, if you have any issues, please address me directly, okay. But please don't forget to subscribe, turn on your post notification, and give this video a big thumbs up. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye.